things you're trying to improve on between now and Tuesday?
Yeah, I mean, I think Curtis. I mean, we still got a lot of areas that we want to improve on for sure. I look back and I've kind of watched the last two games, and then I watched our last two games last year. And the truth of the matter is, the way we were playing towards the end of the year, if Baylor's not part of college basketball, I'm not so sure that we're not a national contender last year, and that's just a plain fact based on watching how we played towards the end of the year. I mean, we might have been the second best team in that tournament once we got to the Elite Eight. We got a lot of growth. I mean, just like last year's team, had to grow throughout the course of the season. But I think the guys are excited to play. We're healthier than we've been, in the last, say 2 months. So that's a positive. That we do have the injured guys back in the fold. Unfortunately, some of them didn't, get the minutes and stuff. Like Kamani still hasn't really played for us. But yeah, work in progress. They're excited. They've been practicing really hard. It's an easy group to coach as far as effort, and practice habits. It's just there's a lot of unknowns once the game hits.
And is there a point in time where the focus shifts kind of from you guys to a lot heavier towards Mercer, and then maybe just an overview on some of the things that stand out about them?
Yeah, so obviously they played last night. We were all in the office watching the game last night. And Alvarez, number 2, is a very, very good ball handler, very crafty, loves to dribble drive right. He's got a great spin dribble, really good in transition, one of the best guards in their league, if not the best guard in their league. Number 22, Hasse, who played on the Chilean national team, can really shoot the ball. He plays the 5 spot for him. He's a trail pick and pop guy. Johnson, who played at Tennessee and Wake Forest, to transfer at 6'6", 6'7". Very, very, very good 3-point shooter. Good defender because of length. Last night they made 13 threes. So this is a team that can really, really shoot the basketball. Number 23, Glisson, is a offensive rebounding, high energy player. And then Grant is a big body, physical, who had 17 points. I mean, those guys in particular is what we're focused on right now. But yes, we have started our prep for them. We'll continue the prep, the next 3 days as well.
Thank you.
Hutch.
Coach, I think after the North Texas game, you said Kamani was supposed to get his cast off on Tuesday. Is that what happened? And how has he looked since he's gotten back at practice?
Hutch, I don't want to mislead you. I'm not sure what day he got it off, because all these days, every day to me is a freaking Monday right now until we play a game. I'd love to. I don't know what day he got the thing off, but he's been practicing the last, 2 practices with something on his wrist, which is not a cast. So tape or whatever you want to call it, splint. But he is full go. Like we're not holding him out. He's in pretty good shape. I think he's worked pretty hard. Unlike Trey Wade, Trey had a knee, so he wasn't able to do much cardiovascular, whereas, Kamani was able to run on the side and continue to work with Dave Rich. So I think he's in pretty good shape, not game shape, but further ahead wind-wise probably than Trey Wade. But yeah, both those guys happy. Jay Will is he's practicing, but we're, the back spasms and, we're concerned that, because it could change, at the snap of a finger with something like a back. So he's been practicing, but we're monitoring to make sure that he, doesn't get fatigued with that thing. He wakes up in the morning, which could happen at any moment, where you just wake up and you don't feel comfortable.
And with Kamani, what do you expect him to bring to your team whenever he is, now that he's in the mix and we'll get to see him in action?
Yeah, I mean, I think he's a really good rebounder. He's a high volume free throw attempt player. He knows who he is. He knows what his game's all about. That's part of this whole thing right now is, who are we going to start? What's our rotation like? How long is the rotation? All those things. So, I know right now we can ill afford just to kind of, hey, let's throw this guy out there and check it out and see how he's doing. We're not at that stage of being good enough right now to do that. I mean, we played 2 exhibition games, and both of them we had very little margin for error, which means you have very little margin for error the way that you sub, and so therefore, whoever goes in, you got to be ready to play right when you go in. I mean, we can't wait for guys to get warmed up and to get into flow or whatever, rhythm, all that. Like, you better come in with some rhythm already.
Nate.
Yeah, with Vanover, because he hadn't been the same player that he was this time last year, like against North Texas particularly. Is his knee bothering him still, and just kind of what progress has he made?
Yeah, I think, Nate, that his knee was bothering him. He sat out a few practices. He's back to going full. He's practicing. He's cleared. There's competition right now amongst our entire roster. We thought Trey Wade gave us something even without him being fully healthy. He's good reaction to the ball, and how this all unfolds, we really don't know. I'd love to be able to tell you, hey, here's who we're starting, here's our rotation, here's 6th, 7th, and 8th man off the bench, but I really truly do not know right now. So that's something that we're still trying to work through.
Also, Jalen Williams, did he start practicing right after after missing the game with back spasms?
Again, all these days run together. Let's see. So I don't know, what day did we play? Saturday?
Yeah, I
Saturday.
guess. So just early in the week, then has he been back? I mean, he's been back for a
Yes, I
while.
want to be specific with you, Nate. We had him sit out Saturday. We did not practice Sunday. He did practice Monday. So he's practiced Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and we'll practice Thursday.
Thanks.
Bob.
Hey Eric, how you doing? And today is Thursday, by the way. Hey Trey Wade, I think he was a plus. You guys were a plus 15 in his 17 minutes. I don't think you could do a whole lot better than that. I know he was a little winded, but after watching the film, what did you think of how he played, and what did he do to help you guys be plus 15 in that short span?
Well, Bob, it's amazing that we were plus 15 because he does not know our plays. So we basically ran sets that 4 players knew and 1 player didn't, but he didn't get in the way. He went and set screens and went to the offensive boards a little bit and kept balls alive, and he defended and didn't take any bad shots. So therefore, we played really good with him on the floor because he didn't disrupt anything, and he guards his guy, and
He guards his guy, and
he plays hard, and he knows how to block out. So it's always good when you have a player that knows how to defensive block out, because we have some guys that are struggling right now to block out.
And I know he was kind of a late addition, I think, in June, and obviously he's had the knee, so he's a little bit probably behind mentally and physically. But what do you think he can give you guys Tuesday night, and then moving forward? What does he, what could he do maybe, even though he's a little behind?
Yeah, I mean, number one, he's a great teammate. He does all the right things. Like I said, he's got good shot selection. He's not trying to play outside, what he's good at. He's a great, he's a great complimentary guy out there that makes his teammates better because he plays the right way, really, Bob.
And he looks like a middle linebacker for the Packers or something. I mean, he's just built like a brick house or whatever, brick wall.
Yeah, it's interesting because a few practices ago, we had one of the Miami Dolphins guys, one of their scouts, at our practice. He's a good friend of mine. We actually worked together with the Florida Beach Dogs, and Trey had made the comment that if things didn't work out for him professionally with basketball, that he would love to try football. And I told Adam, again with the Dolphins, that he should keep an eye on him during our practice, and certainly his body. And you think about basketball players turn football, and you think about a guy like Antonio Gates. I mean, there's been some good guys. Maybe down the road, once basketball's over, he looks into that. But right now, he's a guy that certainly gives us a physical presence for sure, Bob.
Sorry, who's your scout friend for the Dolphins?
Adam. I'm going to give you his last name. I'm drawing a blank.
Okay, we can probably Google it or something. I got one more. I've seen you tweeting the warm-up picture. Didn't your dad have kind of a elaborate warm-up thing at Minnesota? And are you planning to, I guess, bring that back? Is that what this is about, the stuff I've seen?
Yes, it is. We've been working on a pregame warm-up that my dad did do at Ashland College. Sports Illustrated came in the late 60s and did a big feature on the Ashland College pregame warm-up. They were sold out, standing room only every night. That actually brought him national attention, and he got the Minnesota job. And part of the reason was because of their warm-up, because they wanted to try to fill up Williams Arena. They had some years of bad attendance. They did the pregame warm-up. Actually, hockey arena was even full for closed circuit TV at the time because games weren't on television. People would watch the warm-up and leave. We're not going to do the warm-up as long as my dad did. His warm-up was about 14 minutes. It's on YouTube. We did do it at Nevada my very first year until one of our players that was a prominent part of the warm-up got hurt and sprained his ankle really bad, and we couldn't have anybody replace him. But anybody that knows any history about my father, probably the most old school disciplined coach that there ever was. But yet he had an element of entertainment. And so you had this disciplined coach who played an overly disciplined style that was really heavily defensively oriented, limited the opposition from scoring. But he did this pregame warm-up for a lot of reasons. One, he wanted to be organized. He wanted his players to have great fundamentals, handling the basketball. He wanted his team to be locked in, and the warm-up helped with skills as well. And so does this add an element of entertainment for our fans? Absolutely. It's not a normal two-line layup, and it takes us about 4.5 minutes to do it. 9 of our players have learned to juggle 3 basketballs. Most of our team can all spin the ball on their finger. A lot of 2-ball dribbling, just a lot of skill stuff that we've worked on. And then it's well choreographed. When my father passed away, I found a suitcase that he had hidden. The only thing in the suitcase was the exact instructions on how to teach the warm-up. I had never seen it growing up, never saw it actually until after he had passed away. And I went to clean up his home in Sarasota, Florida. Is the first time that I had ever seen the warm-up. So it's a little bit old school, a little bit new school, and I think our players enjoy it. We'll see how it goes. We are going to do it opening night, and then we'll ask you guys what you think and see how our fans respond and decide if we're going to do it past opening night or not.
Okay, that's pretty. I assume you still have that thing you found at your dad's house, like the formula or whatever,
Everybody in our office has it. It's been photocopied. It's been texted. It has been. Everybody knows how to teach this warm up that's in this office. Even Kaywood knows.
Okay, is he going to be part of it?
I'm trying to get Kaywood to ride a unicycle. Until he can do that, we'll keep him out of But if he could ever ride a unicycle, he could lead our team out.
Okay, I might have a couple more. I'll turn it back. Thanks for the detail on that.
Dudley.
How you feel about your point guard play that second exhibition game and then practice leading up to this one?
Wow, coming strong right at it, Dudley. Well, we're still a work in progress at the point guard position. So, I mean, we're just right. I think we're right at that same spot. Dudley is three guys on our roster that have predominantly, well, two of them, Likes and JD Note, have predominantly been off guards that'll play some point guard for us. Devo, obviously in high school, played predominantly point guard, but last year had incredible success at the 2, 3, and even the 4. He played more power forward last year than he did point guard. So there's an adjustment playing at the collegiate level at that position for all three of those guys. I thought KK did a good job in his minutes the other night, orchestrating the team. He seems to be a little bit healthier than he has been for most of the summer and even the first 4 weeks into, September. Now that we're in October, he's probably as healthy as he's been. So I think it's still a work in progress. We got to continue to get better at moving the basketball and creating shots for teammates rather than ourselves. We know that all three of those guys can create shots for themselves. And quite frankly, all three of them can create their own shot almost as well as anybody in college basketball. But now it's, can you create a shot for a teammate? That's where we're at right now. Jacob.
Eric, going back to your answer on the Trey Wade question a few minutes ago, that's not the first time you've mentioned a new guy not knowing the plays well enough. Is that something, when you have so many new guys up to this point, is that something you expected, or is it something that's a bit frustrating when you're a couple days out from the start of the season?
No, I mean, in all honesty, Jacob, Trey just missed stuff because he got here later than everybody. And then not only that, but then he was hurt. So therefore, some of your execution is going to slip. And with some of these guys, like Stanley Amude learned the 4 spot, then he learned the 5 spot, and I'm going to go down there in 11 and a half minutes and tell him he's got to learn the 3 spot. And we have a large play package. We don't have a small play package. And so, when the fans or media members say, hey, why doesn't that guy go in, or what? Well, you got to know the plays at those positions, because, and so with the injuries, when Connor was out and then when Jalen Williams was out, those guys are bigs. So in practice, other players had to play the big spot. Well, now that everybody's healthy, some of those guys that were playing the 4-5 got to learn the 3-4. So, not unexpected. I mean, last year, we had some guys that, well, quite frankly, are freshmen. I thought that it took them a little bit of catch up to learn the playbook inside and out and to learn multiple positions. And maybe that's why minutes are the way they are, to start off the season. It's not easy to learn the playbook that we have, because it's not a normal college playbook. It's an NBA playbook with a lot of quick hitters that don't eat up shot clock. That's just kind of how we play. So the first 15 seconds of a shot clock are usually some quick hitting plays that we only run once or twice a game. So you're looking at anywhere from 30 to 35 sets. And then after the play breaks down, now we're in our open offense, which is more of a 5-man passing game. So to learn all those sets can be problematic at times.
And then you talk about Stanley moving all over the place. When you guys are at full health, which hopefully you'll be Tuesday night, where do you see him being for these first couple games?
Anywhere from the 3 to the 5. I mean, I could start him at the center spot if we want to play with some quickness, or I could start him at the 3 spot if we want to play more power ball. And last night, I mentioned Mercer played, so that game has not even been 15 hours old, where we're still digesting And then I really believe in talking to the players as well. So I'm going to talk to the players, and we're going to talk about matchups, and I want them to buy in and feel a part of all the decisions we make. So over the next 2 days, they'll play a big portion of how we want to play and what they feel comfortable in pick and roll packages, defensively, so on and so forth.
Thanks, Eric.
Scotty.
Hey, Coach, I've read in some of your post-game autopsy tweets the various goals that you guys have for games, like a 2/3 assist rate or a certain points per possession mark, points off turnovers. I guess without giving it all away, what are some of those other goals that you guys have that you might be willing to share?
Yeah, I mean, I think that, what was that, Halloween screams?
I've got a 2-year-old home with a fever.
Oh man. Yeah, I mean, I think that moving the basketball, sharing the ball, I mean, we're just trying to continue to get as much buy-in as we can on making an extra pass. I mean, we have a drill called Spurs One More, where 5 guys are on the floor and you pass it around the horn, back around the horn. And so we're trying to throw these different stats at them, Scotty, to try to get great buy-in on sharing the ball. We've talked about the 200 passes. I think last year's team understood what 200 passes meant. This year, maybe not as much. So we're trying to tell them how many passes per possession and so on, and to try to get a little bit more, belief in sharing that thing.
And quickly, I guess just expectations with Mercer in terms of pace. Are they going to try to push it, or are they more grinded out type team, you think?
I mean, I think with number 2, Alvarez, he loves to score the ball in transition. They'll push it opportunistically, and they're also a team that doesn't have a problem kind of getting a shot off in the last 8 seconds of a shot clock as well. I mentioned the 3-point shooting. We did a great job against North Texas, taking away the 3. We're going to have to continue to do that. But they do have a good trail big that in transition, 22, Hasse can knock down the 3 ball, and he's a very good passer as well. So I could see him playing through the trail spot as well with him as a trigger man. He had 4 assists yesterday. So I think, defensively, you're going to have to hold him in transition, build a wall against number 2, Alvarez. You're going to have to locate 22 as quickly as possible, as well as Johnson. Number 20, you're going to have to locate those guys. And then you're going to have to be able to guard back cuts, because when they dribble at you, they'll go back door. They do a lot of good offensive movement spacing wise, and you're going to have to guard an entire shot clock. You can't over gamble. You've got to be very solid defensively against their precision offense, which again, they can eat some shot clock up if need be.
Trey and Randy, time for two real quick ones. Trey first.
Yeah, Coach, what do you want to see from your team that'll give you confidence that they're ready to go for Mercer between now and that time tonight?
You kind of cut in and out, Trey. I think you were asking about them being ready to play.
Yeah, what do you need to see from them in practice that gives you confidence they're ready?
Yeah, I mean, I practice-wise, Trey, we've been doing, like, I'm not, I try to tell you guys it's exactly what the emotions on my sleeve are. I'm happy with the way that we practiced. I really am. I mean, I think, maybe 1 or 2 guys could practice a little bit harder, but for the most part, this team gives us incredible effort, energy, enthusiasm every day in practice. I think it's more about them feeling comfortable playing together. It's more about them understanding their teammates, getting a rhythm. I think all those things are just lack of playing together is probably the biggest thing. And then we were nervous the first game. We got a little bit more at ease, I thought, going into game 2. But we're look at our roster, man. There's a lot of guys that have not played in front of a true crowd. I mean, our 3 freshmen, the most they played in front of last year was 4,000. We got a lot of new faces. So a lot of guys have not played in front of big crowds. Certainly the 2 ACC transfers have, but we're anticipating a heck of a crowd on Tuesday, and it's going to be new for a lot of people.
Randy, real quick, final question.
Eric, does the starting lineup really mean anything on Tuesday? And depending upon the starting lineup, how does that affect your rotation?
Yeah, I don't think a starting lineup, I mean, number one, availability over the last 2 weeks is going to have something to do with the starting lineup. If you're not available, over the last 2 weeks, it's semi hard to throw a guy out there. So that's a little bit of it, but I don't look too much into the starting lineup. I think the 2 exhibition games last year a lot, based on how the flow of the game, you want to try to make adjustments. You want to try to get the right guys out on the floor once the game is started, and you can kind of see the matchups. You can only gain so much truly off of film. You can understand X and O's off the film, but until you actually are live and see how quick a guy is, how tall he actually is, that's when you can really try, start to determine matchups that are advantageous for you.
Okay, Coach, thanks for your time. Appreciate it.
What's Adam's name with the Dolphins?